non-SEC teams the last couple of weeks? It seems like at times guys aren't quite up for these games.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to remember our kids are still 18 to 22-year-old kids. So I think the focus, the maturity in the focus has slipped. And I don't want to say that we're not motivated for the games, but I even think during the games I see that where, we'll play a great offensive half and then a bad offensive half, and we'll play a great defensive half and a bad defensive half, or play a couple really good series and then look terrible for 3 straight series. That focus kind of drops a little bit, where it didn't. And I think it is hard sometimes. We try to fight against the kids. Look at the scoreboard and say, "Hey, coach, we're up big," and all of a sudden the team comes back on you a bunch and you don't feel comfortable about it. We went out last week and I think our first 2 possessions we had negative 10 yards net on the offense. We went 10 yards backwards. Just complete lack of focus. Thinking that we're just going to maybe score on every time we have the ball or something like that. And sometimes it's not just that. It is, hey, I want to score a touchdown every time I touch it. Instead of, I'm going to follow my read and we might only get 5 or 6 yards. You start seeing guys running around backwards and stop it. I'm going to try to spin out and go the other way and take it 90 and ends up -5. Or if they just hit the hole, it would have been a good play and kept the ball moving down the field. I think those things happen sometimes in those type of games.
You mentioned the wide receivers 2 weeks now have done a really good job getting open. Is that because they're all working off each other, they've developed, or just defenses can't focus on 1 or 2 guys?
I think when you can, we don't worry, we put all those guys out there that, someone's always going to be, they can't double everybody or they can't kind of bracket everybody. Someone's got to be left alone, and those guys, and we have trust in those guys to be able to get open. And, so I think they've done a decent job of it. And you have some experience there. You have some guys that know how to get open now in games.
How have you worked the bye week this week? Just usually the bye week.
I spoke all over the place yesterday.
Just with the team.
We evaluated the film Sunday, and I spoke all over the place yesterday, and they showed up today.
Just with the team, though, it's not like you're preparing for a scrimmage or anything on Saturday or anything.
No, we're just, what we're doing is getting reps for guys. Today we went a longer practice than we normally do on game week. A lot of that is because we expanded individual to get some more individual work. You use this week, there's a lot of stuff when you get into game weeks that you don't get to do in practice. It gets stuff that gets shortened down. We've expanded upon those things that get shortened down in game week. And then, when we go live reps, there's a bunch of guys that aren't taking live reps this week. They're going to do individual. They're going to do pass skill. They're going to do some of that group work. But we go live 11 on 11. We're going to force a lot of other players to go earn more reps on Saturday and show what they can do.
You're going to focus a lot on the freshmen that have played this week, and what do you try to accomplish with them the week off?
The freshmen that haven't played?
That have played, I'm sorry.
The same as everybody else, this is a big week for the 2s. The guys that are, 1.5s and 2s, guys that are rotating 20 reps a game and all that stuff. This is a big week for them. A guy, Banks, is going to get minimal work when we go 11 on 11. I know what he can do, and he'll be ready. He's working his fundamentals. He's working in 7-on-7 drills, to keep going. I'm not going to let him do a lot of 11 on 11 because I want to see the other guys have to step up and do that, and that's what we're doing with those guys.
When you sit down and you watch the film and you talk to Tyler, especially this last game, the drops the first game against Troy, but the South Alabama game, is he quick to realize what was wrong on some of those throws? Was anything bothering him? Or?
No, I think, what, I just think at times they gave a couple different looks we hadn't seen him give before. And then, I think he held on to the ball a couple times too much of trying to make the perfect throws. When you start trying to make perfect throws, you start aiming the ball. When you start aiming it, you start missing. And, so I think to him, that was some of it. And, but, nothing that's not going to be corrected. You know what I mean? Even the throw, he hit Arcedo down the middle of the field, wide open. I'm like, hey, I bet you'd like to have that one back. He's like, yeah, I just, he was so wide open I didn't want to overthrow him. And so he ends up way underthrowing him. Those type of things where instead of just playing, he was thinking and trying to kind of be perfect when he just go play.
Talk about him maybe staying in the pocket too long. I know there's a fine line you got to give between having that poise and just, you got to get out of there and get rid of the ball.
Well, it wasn't that. It's holding on to the ball till everybody's wide open. Does that make, you know what I mean? He was kind of like, hey, I'm gonna try to wait till he's wide open and make the big play. Like, I think a lot of our guys, there are times you see plays, and even slight things that you wouldn't see, that if you go study the film, you'll see, boy, there was the crease. And the kid's like, well, I'm trying to hit the home run instead of hitting a single. I got an easy single right here. I'm going to go swing for the fences. And I think in those games that happens sometimes. Our guys everyone wants to make the big play. And when you get into league play a lot, you're playing that ball control. You're trying to get the first down. It's going to be such a tough game, that I got to go pound it out and I got to go hit some singles. That you have to do that.
Have you seen him try to force too many throws, and what happened on that pick in particular?
Pick was a horrendous route.
Okay.
But it was the same thing. You get in those games, Arcedo. I ran his route, but he kind of. I think he didn't think he was getting the ball.
Yeah.
If you watch the film of it, he ran this like a cookie cutter route, and just the the throw was actually pretty good on that. And Arcedo, he ran a comeback and never pushed him off. He was just kind of going through the motions down the field and turned around, and because he probably thought the ball was going somewhere else, and you can't do that. That's something we haven't done, and you just see those little things like that. That's a lack of focus.